Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 15 of the Weekly Gridiron. This is going to be a good one. We are your hosts, Adam,
Dante,
and
Luke.
Back here as always. We're here to do a bunch of fun stuff today. We're going to recap the conference championships, give you our pick for Super Bowl 57, right?
57.
We have the matchup. We know who's playing in it, and we're going to give you our prediction. We're also going to go over our predictions for the upcoming NFL Honors, which is next Thursday. And we're going to give a little segment on, the Pro Bowls this weekend, what we can do to fix it, maybe, if we were in charge of the Pro Bowl. So we'll get into all that today. Do we want to just start with the Super Bowl picks, boys?
Yeah, I'm down for it.
As long as one of you two starts, because I don't really know yet.
Well, I know exactly who I'm going with, but Dante, do you know?
I do know, but Adam, I want you to start.
Okay. I had a big reveal planned.
Okay, do you want me to go first?
But I don't care. I can go or you can go.
I'll go.
All right, I'll let Dante start.
All right. Now, I had I've been thinking about this pick for a few days now, ever since the games concluded, like right after the Chiefs beat the Bengals in the AFC Championship, but we'll get to the recap later. But this is a really tough game. This is probably one of the toughest games we've had to pick all year, and I'm sure both of you could vouch for that.
By the way, I've made my pick. I'll go third.
I'll let you go second then, actually.
All right.
I'll go last.
So, at the beginning of the playoffs, we posted our brackets on our Weekly Gridiron Instagram page. If you don't follow that, go follow that.
Go follow it. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Hit that follow button. And I had the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl. And after close consideration, I'm going to stick with that pick, and I have the Philadelphia Eagles as Super Bowl 57 champions. And let me tell you why. Their offense seems absolutely unstoppable right now, and the Chiefs' defense doesn't seem top tier, and they haven't been top tier for a couple years now. The Eagles' running game is just stellar right now, and even whenever the running game isn't working out too well, Hurts can sling that ball to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, whoever. But then going over to the other side, you have, of course, Patrick Mahomes and you have Travis Kelce, who are both, of course, that's probably the best offensive tandem in the NFL right now.
Of course.
But it all comes down to just the defenses, and I feel like Philly's defense is playing better than the Chiefs right now. You know, the Chiefs gave up 20 points to the Jags, and of course, maybe some of those points were in garbage time. However, they still gave up 20, and if you look at the scores of the two Eagles playoff games so far, of course they're playing not insane competition, but they've given up 14 points in two games. You know, it doesn't matter who's starting at quarterback. If you're giving up 14 points in two games, if you're giving up only 7 points with an offense with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and you only give up a touchdown, that's pretty stellar defense. And then in the Giants game, they had Saquon, Danny Dimes, who was playing out of his mind. 14 points in two games, that's hard to pick against, and that's why I'm going with the Eagles in this game.
Oh, man, I'm still going back and forth on this. I lied. So, as I brainstorm, let me think out loud a little bit. I am taking into consideration the fact that the Eagles have had not a very difficult path to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course.
They had the bye, then they had Daniel Jones and the Giants. They destroyed them. And then, with all due respect to the 49ers, and Dante, you're right about their weapons, and Kyle Shanahan knows how to write something up. They probably could have made it work a little bit better, but they really didn't have a quarterback for 75% of this game. Yeah,
and I've been saying it all along. I thought Brock Purdy was very overrated. I like the guy. He was good for what he is. He came in, he won 10 straight games. Of course, you can't doubt that. But, I think whenever it came to the big moment, like the NFC Championship, I even if he was in, I feel like they would have fell short. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and you might be right.
Who knows, though? Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong.
I have a feeling you're right, but
it's just mainly because the Eagles,
their offense is rolling.
Their offense and their defense has been playing great.
Yeah, it has been. But I can't dismiss the fact that they've had an easy path to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and me saying that they didn't have a quarterback 75% of the time. I'm not saying that Josh Johnson wasn't a quarterback. I'm saying that the rest of the time, because even he got hurt eventually.
Yeah.
They were down to literally nobody. Brock Purdy had to come back in, and he didn't throw a single pass. Christian McCaffrey threw a pass into nowhere, and so they were never going to win the game like that. And the Chiefs side of things, they beat the Jaguars at home. They beat the Bengals at home. I really would like to be able to. I would really like to pick the Eagles, and I would really like if they would win, just so we don't have to hear from Jackson or Brittany Mahomes for the rest of the offseason.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big Eagles fan right now.
Yeah, so that's why I'm cheering for the Eagles. And man, it's tough.
This is a really tough pick.
It's really, really tough, and I've been going back and forth on it for a very long time. I really. All right, I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs.
Okay,
that's what my gut is telling me, even though I think that I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I just can't figure out the Eagles. I can't figure out. Of course they're for real, but I can't figure out if they're as good as something in the 30s to 7 every single game.
It's just their running game, dude. Like that.
Yeah.
Like Miles Sanders is playing out of his mind right now, and that's mainly thanks to their offensive line. Lane Johnson is having the best year of his career.
Boston
right now.
Scott had a touchdown.
Boston Scott. Kenny Gainwell even had a good game.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
As Dante did with the Eagles, they were my pick at the beginning of the preseason, or at the postseason. Well, yeah, in the preseason, the Chiefs were my pick, and they were my pick week 1, 2, 3, week 18. They were my pick as far as the wild card round, as far as the divisional round. I only switched up last round. I picked the Bengals, and I should have just stayed true, because then I would have been able to have the brag of picking them all along the way, even though I legitimately thought that the Bengals were going to win last game. So I'm not gonna claim that anymore. But I'm going to stick with my preseason pick, which is the Chiefs, even though I think the Eagles, for what they've been given, because that's the other thing. People will say, I will say, they've had an easy path to the Super Bowl, but they have taken what was in front of them, which is all they can do, and they have destroyed their competition. So it can't really be a knock on them. Just because I'm not really sure what kind of a team they are as far as the Super Bowl goes, because the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship are two completely different things.
Yes, very
You're under
true.
a different spotlight with different attention in a different place. Nobody is home for this game. Although, did you hear the funny thing that this isn't State Farm Arena or Stadium, whatever it's called, in Phoenix? The winner of this game will have more wins in that arena this year than the Arizona Cardinals.
What?
The Arizona Cardinals won one home game this year.
And both of them already won one.
And the Eagles won in Arizona this year, and the Chiefs won in Arizona this year.
That's
so hilarious. The winner of this game will have had a better season in Arizona than Arizona.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty pathetic. So... Yes, Adam, I will pass the baton. I'll pass the baton, yeah.
Okay. So I, like Luke, thought a lot about this game. Oh, yeah, sorry. This will be the best game I think we'll see all season.
Agreed.
I'm going to start by saying that. When can you say that you see the two number 1 seeds in the Super Bowl? In fact, I believe the last time the Eagles made the Super Bowl, when it was Eagles versus Patriots, number 1 versus number 1 in 2017-18, I believe.
Sorry, Adam, I hate to correct you, but I believe they were a wild card team.
The Eagles?
Weren't they? Were they not a
No,
wild card?
they were number 1, I believe.
Really?
I think.
Wentz was having an MVP season. So
Wentz had an MVP season. I think they had a first-round bye.
Maybe I'm wrong.
And they faced the Falcons, who I think upset the Rams, and then obviously faced the Vikings. I believe it was...
Yeah, they were 13-3, my bad.
I believe it was,
right.
Number 1, Eagles, 2, I want to say Vikings.
The reason I thought they were a wild card team is because
I think it was
Foles
3,
was in.
Yeah.
And they had to... I don't know why. Yeah.
I think it was 3 Rams. Yeah, because that playoffs was 4. Number 4 was Saints, 5 was Panthers, and 6 was Falcons.
It's insane that you
4
know
through
that.
6 was all NFC South.
If you don't mind me interrupting again, another fun fact for this game. another fun fact for this game, if Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win the Super Bowl, both of Carson Wentz's backups from Philly will have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Foles, too, right?
Unlucky guy.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, you don't want to be tuning in this game, buddy.
That's when Tennessee. That's the year Tennessee beat Kansas City in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about waiting to reveal my outfit with my pick, but I think it makes more sense.
Do whatever
to
you're
so.
planning on doing.
I think it makes more sense to do so before I get into my whole thing about what I'm going to say. So, here's the big reveal. This is what I'm wearing.
Go Birds. Let's go. Come on.
Y'all can't see it, but I have a powder blue Bryce Harper jersey on.
Let's go.
If you don't know, Bryce Harper is not only the best player in baseball, but he's on the Philadelphia Phillies. I am riding with this city for the Super Bowl. As a Phillies fan, and as, I guess, a claimed Philadelphia Union MLS fan, the Union were in the MLS final this year.
Go.
The MLS Cup final.
Come on.
Lost in penalties to LAFC. The Phillies were in the World Series. Lost in 6 games. In Game 6, lost 4-1 to the Houston Astros.
This is a bad trend.
This Eagles team is going to get it right. As they say in the hashtag, it's a Philly thing. They're going to get it right. The streets are going to party more than they did for the NFC Championship, which if you saw those parties, get ready. It's about to be even crazier. I don't know if you saw, there were people falling through like buildings and stuff.
Oh, and if you're wondering, the Flyers are 21-21-9, and
okay, the Flyers. I hate the Flyers.
The Sixers are 32-17. So
this is an exception of I hate the Flyers. I'm a huge Phillies fan, you know that. MLS, I guess I'll say I like the Union. Eagles, I don't mind. Sixers, I don't mind. I'm with Dante. I don't like Brittany Mahomes and Jackson Mahomes. I feel bad for Patrick that he has to deal with that throughout his life. Because they're annoying people. I'm sorry.
He put that on himself. He married her.
Okay, that's true. That's true. But I'm not only riding with Philly because I want them to get this title thing right finally. I'm riding with Philly because I don't want to hear the Mahomes family all off season long. So, as they say, go Birds, fly Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
Let's go.
Is that the right words? Is that how it goes? I think.
I just have one question though. John Fetterman, who are you picking?
The Eagles are so much better than Eagles.
Yeah. Rah.
Yeah.
The Eagles are.
He's picking the Eagles over the Eagles.
The Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Makes sense. All right, well then I will accept being the minority for the Chiefs, and to put it out there, I hope you guys are right.
I already know you're going to be right, Luke.
We'll see. There's a lot riding on it for who wins the playoff standings.
I don't know, Dante.
Dante and Luke, you're both currently 8-4, tied for second. I'm 9-3. Oh wait, no. Wait a minute. No, I have 4 losses. Hold on. Wait, maybe I calculated that wrong. I don't think I'm 9-3. No, wait, I am because I went undefeated last weekend. That's right.
You went undefeated last weekend?
I did. I went 4-0 in the divisional round.
Last weekend.
Oh,
Conference championships, I was 0-2, but we're not going to talk about it.
I told y'all.
And then the wild card weekend, I only had 1 loss, and it was the Buccaneers, which again you told me. So, okay, shall we get into? Oh, actually, let's recap the games first. Let's recap last weekend's games. So, first one up was 49. What are you doing, Luke?
Sorry, I'm taking my Be Real.
Oh, let me get in it.
Let me be. All right.
Sorry.
Want
Be
to
real
pause
things
in action?
first. Okay. First game was
Bingo.
49ers and Eagles. I thought that would be the game of the weekend because it was 2 very evenly matched teams, the 2 best teams in the NFC, 2 of the best teams in the NFL, maybe the 2 best teams in the NFL. It was terrible. It was horrible. And that's not by fault of the 49ers. I mean, part of it is. They had tons of injuries. Brock Purdy got hurt early on. They had to resort to journeyman himself, Josh Johnson, to be the quarterback, who I think has played for like 14 different teams or something. I don't know. Or has taken like 14 different trips across the NFL. to team from team.
He played in like the XFL too,
I'm
and like
pretty
the
sure-
CFL.
I didn't even know Josh Johnson was on the 49ers. He was on Denver last time I checked.
Wasn't he on Baltimore too?
See, that's the thing. We don't know he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this was like his second or third 49ers stint. When the word journeyman comes into account, Josh Johnson is the ultimate description of it. And he didn't do that great at quarterback. Expected. The Eagles' offense took advantage of the injuries, blew out the Niners. We even saw some Christian McCaffrey at quarterback, which was interesting. Dante has chosen to forfeit the chair and go to the big stool.
I'm way up, I feel.
He's way up now on us. But you guys can give your thoughts on this game too, not just me. But I think it was... it wasn't the best game, and it really couldn't have been because of all the injuries. And I mean, the Eagles, they took advantage of it, and why wouldn't you? But yeah, Philly's going back to the Super Bowl. I just wish this game was a little more interesting than it was.
Yeah, I was hoping for a better game. Yeah, I don't know. I was really going into the playoffs. I was really hoping for like an NFC East versus NFC East NFC Championship. I feel like that would have been sick. That's why I was rooting for like the Cowboys against the Niners, even though I'm not a big Cowboys fan. I just wanted to see that rivalry go far. But yeah, I was at work during this game, and I couldn't really catch most of it, but I was just seeing, Miles Sanders touchdown. What do you have, like 3 or 4?
2, but yeah.
He had 2? That's it? I swear, I thought he had 3.
He might have had 3.
Maybe I'm wrong. No, you know what it was? He did have 2, then Hurts had 1. That's what
And
it
I
was.
think he had 2 in the divisional round as well. So
That's why, yeah. But either way, man, yeah, I was hoping for a better game, but I was really rooting for Philly in this game. Just because I like Hurts, I like A.J. Brown, I like that whole team pretty much. And, yeah, I was hoping for a better game, but Eagles won, so not too upset about it.
yeah, I forget if Adam mentioned this. We were in the car, so we couldn't catch.
I did not.
He did not. We were in the car. We couldn't catch the game. Some of the friends on our group chat were saying that it was poorly officiated and that some calls were going the Eagles' way, and that was true for this weekend, especially the second game, which we can get to. But I don't think refs can create a 24-point deficit. Like Dante was saying, I think the Eagles win this game with a healthy Brock Purdy playing. It was unfortunate that we didn't get that, and we didn't even get Josh Johnson, their fourth string QB, to play more than like 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
you just hope for better games down the stretch like this, and especially like the NFC, the AFC Championship divisional round. Last year we got some phenomenal games like the Bills-Chiefs OT, and then the Bengals-Chiefs AFC divisional round or AFC Championship last year. Excuse me. We got some phenomenal games last year. I've been a little bit disappointed by the playoffs this year, and this game just goes to show that the Super Bowl better be good because this just wasn't that entertaining of a game from what I know.
Agreed.
But like I said, for the Eagles, they've just taken what they've been given and they've run over their competition. So that it can't be a knock on them. So credit to the Eagles.
Yeah, go Birds.
Yeah. All right. And for the Chiefs and the Bengals, Dante, if you want to do your little Bengals what happened thing, just go ahead. You go ahead and start.
Cincinnati Bengals. What happened? Joe Burrow. He played a pretty good game. The Bengals played a pretty solid game for mainly the second half. They were pretty quiet in the first half, as were the Chiefs, however. But it really got interesting. Whenever what's his name?
Samaje Perine.
Perine, yeah. Whenever he tied it up with that rushing touchdown, I really sat up in my chair and I was like, oh, this is going to be another Bills-Chiefs situation of last year.
Maybe,
Almost.
yeah.
But
Almost was.
Osai really.
Yeah.
He really messed that thing up.
I just want to say costly penalties. And I guess going back to last year's Super Bowl, it would not be a Bengals playoff loss without Eli Apple just blowing it totally.
And it would not be a Bengals playoff loss without an unnecessary roughness call to put them in the field goal range.
Right.
Happened with us. Happened the Bengals against the Steelers.
Wasn't that with Burfict with AB?
Yeah, Vontaze
Where he
Burfict.
almost took his head off?
Yeah.
I remember that
And then
game.
Boswell pretty much had a chip shot. We went to play the Chiefs. Then we beat the Chiefs and went to play New England and got our ass beat.
I remember that. Yeah. Yep, the Chris Hogan masterclass.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, costly penalties on Cincinnati's end. Joseph Osai, I mean, you just can't be doing that. I feel bad for him. But
I really feel for the guy.
That's
man.
common knowledge. You just can't be doing that in that situation, especially when the refs are kind of more soft these days with their roughness calls, roughing the passer, whatever. Basically, if you just touch somebody, it's a penalty. I mean, you just got to be careful. That's common knowledge. And then Eli Apple, I mean, all that talking on Twitter, just have another penalty that
Dude, his poor
causes the
mom.
loss.
His poor mom.
she had to delete Twitter.
I know, that poor lady. I feel so bad for her.
Mama can watch from the crib.
I was gonna say, as he said, Mama will be watching the Super Bowl from the crib.
So will he.
So will he, yeah. And the Chiefs, I mean, I knew they had it in them to win this game. I mean, they're Kansas City. They're one of the best teams in the league for a reason. They're led by the best quarterback in football, who even is great on one good ankle. I saw him experiencing pain that whole game, and he was great. He was great.
I mean, I picked the Bengals, but like deep down, I knew. I was like, oh, the Chiefs are gonna.
I had a feeling.
Chiefs are just gonna do it.
I had a feeling.
Like as soon as right when kickoff started, I was like, oh fuck, why did I do that? You know.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
Yeah, in my opinion, so I want to touch on something you guys didn't really touch on. We talked about the unnecessary reference in the end of the game, but there was just an outpour of people on social media saying that, like, oh, this game is proof that the NFL is scripted or the NFL is rigged. I strongly disagree. I think parts of this game were poorly officiated, not to the intentional benefit of one team.
I mean,
So everyone points at the fourth down drive. I think it was fourth quarter. Excuse me, that the Chiefs got not turnover on downs. It got to fourth down twice, and they were given first downs twice. The Chiefs punted on that drive. It didn't end up being costly at all. In fact, it took time away from the Chiefs at the end of the game, if anything. So yeah, that was poorly officiated. But then at the end of the game, that was the right call for unnecessary roughness, and that Eli Apple hold that was one of those third down plays. That was a good call.
yeah, that was a hold.
And you could talk about the one thing with the ref trying to blow the play dead, and that was a technical. That was a really poor referee moment, but it was technically they made the right decision there. So I know that Bengals fans have every reason to be upset, but they lost this game. They lost this game fair, in my opinion.
Yeah, and dude, the thing is, like, those drives that gave the Chiefs like extra time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just took. The only thing that really did was take more time off the clock, which then ended up hurting the Chiefs.
It did.
You know what I'm saying?
If that unnecessary roughness didn't happen, they would have been. I think they said it would have been like a mid to high 50s field goal.
Yeah, he would have been at like the 40 maybe, maybe
Yeah.
even further back. But they were saying like Butker isn't like he's not hitting from
Not
50
anymore,
or higher. You know.
And people point at that, but it comes down to the fact that that one drive that everyone's pointing at, where the Chiefs got those two third downs back, they punted that drive.
Dude,
If they had scored that drive, it would have been different. Then it would have been like a little bit, okay, that's really screwed up. But that's not how it went down.
and you know if the Bengals would have won this game, it would have been Chiefs versus refs.
Yeah,
'Cause it's the same shit all the time. Excuse my
really
French,
is.
but it truly is.
And you know what really annoys me? And I knew they had this coming, especially after the fan reaction myself after the Bills lost. But people were going in on the Bengals on Twitter. Not even really the 49ers, but people just loved to trash the Bengals after that loss. It's just like, to me, our team's not allowed to lose games anymore. Our team's automatically frauds if they just don't make the Super Bowl.
Dude, the thing is, the reason I clown the Bengals is because it's a rivalry.
Oh, and I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't.
No, I mean, yeah, you could it's like you with the Bills. You're not gonna. I mean, you may call the Bills frauds because
Yeah,
you truly think they are.
And I know they're a powerhouse, but
I mean, yeah, Bengals and the Bills are a good team, but it is making the Super Bowl is the hardest thing you could do in most of sports. Making your championship, and it shouldn't be Super Bowl or bust for every team every season. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you can't just shit on a team for losing a close game like that.
yeah,
Like I respect the Bengals a shit ton, mainly
yeah,
because they pulled themselves out of fourth or third place in the division. They pulled themselves out of being fourth or third place perennially, like every season.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and that just doesn't happen.
To the perennial winner
Yeah,
of that division now. Like they're going to be winning that division for years. Hopefully, we get some more competitiveness in that division.
yeah,
But everybody's hyping up the Bengals. Oh, Joe Burrow. But as soon as they lose a game by 3 points in a game that's not even Joe Burrow's fault,
yeah.
now you're messing with them. Like,
And I get it. There's an
Sorry,
equal. Yeah, Adam's just sitting back. There's an equal reaction to every action, and it is because the Bills or the Bengals, they talk a lot of smack, especially Eli Apple. Everybody was headhunting for Eli Apple after this game, deservingly so. But Joe Burr, Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty, it gets a little old, and I knew people were going to take the opportunity to really flip it on its head after the Bengals lost. It just got a little annoying to me.
yeah, dude. But the same people that were hyping it up and saying Joe Burr, Joe Cool, are the same ones that clown him when he loses.
Excuse me, and yeah, that's what's annoying to me.
Yeah, like
That's what's annoying to me.
NFL hype beast, dude. NFL casuals can't take.
Yeah.
Just pick a team.
Yeah.
Unless you're a casual NFL fan that's a girl and you just like Joe Burrow because he's a good-looking dude, that's fine.
Which, yeah, I don't blame them then.
I don't care, but
Yeah. So after all the smoke is cleared, that game, it was a good game. It's a little tainted by some late game officiating moments, like I was saying. But my viewpoint on this game is that was a good game.
Yeah.
And
I was
the
just
best
hoping for
team
a better
won.
ending.
So was I, but
I was hoping for
that's just how it happens sometimes. And the best team won, in my opinion. So
yeah, when it came down to it, especially at Arrowhead, dude. Like, come on.
yeah, I think the Bengals were just a little bit figured out this year.
Yeah.
I really think that last year was just an insane display of wide receivers carrying their team to a Super Bowl. And, I mean, Joe Burrow as well, but I'm just saying, I had never seen a tandem of, 2 or 3 wide receivers just be so, game-breaking for so long.
The thing is with last year, dude, they played, they played, snap the ball, get it out to one of your receivers, let them run.
Yeah.
As soon as, that good, Rams secondary of last year, once they were like, all right, if we cover these guys, their offensive line isn't that good, we're going to get to Joe. And having Aaron Donald on that line,
right.
shut him down immediately. And that's the main reason the Bengals didn't win the Super Bowl. If they had just a decent O-line that just contained some of those guys, even give up a sack here or there, you just contain them as much as you can, I could see Cincinnati winning the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, and that's the one other thing to wrap this up for this game. And Tony Romo, who I hate to listen to.
I like him.
I could not disagree with you more. He was acting like Frank Clark's #1 fan the whole game.
Yeah.
But it was for a point. It was because as you were mentioning, Joe Burrow got sacked. I know at least 5 times.
Yeah.
So that definitely played a part in this game as well.
I mean, yeah, it's the same. It's this different year, same story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just offensive line struggles for the Bengals. I mean, Joe Mixon really couldn't get the ball going.
Yeah, he was kind of a non-factor this year. He had a good year, but yeah.
He had one good game, and that's whenever I traded. That's whenever I traded Jacobs.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Oh, wow, yeah.
Mixon
And
just
that was
had,
against the Panthers,
points.
was it not?
I
It
think
was,
so, I
yeah.
think so.
He's smiling back there. All right, well then, Adam, I'll let you come back to reality, and we can talk about whatever's next on the agenda.
I've been here the whole time. I just let you guys, let
was
you
a
guys
good
have your
convo.
discussion.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
So,
A lot of points are made.
do we want to predict the NFL honors?
We could do
Yeah,
that.
sure. That's
Coming up next Thursday.
That's
so
gotta bring him up.
we can I have the nominees here if you don't want to bring anything up, but we can just run through it quickly if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll go from they're all significant awards, but the least significant out of these to the most. So first up, we have the Associate Press Assistant Coach of the Year. The nominees for this are Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, D'Amico Ryans, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, or Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. So I'll let you guys make your picks first.
I'm going to do a write-in pick, and I'm going to pick Matt Patricia, play caller for the Patriots. No, if you guys don't mind me going first, I'll pick who's the 49ers guy?
That's what I'm going to. D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, let's I'll pick D'Amico Ryans here unless Adam disagrees. He does not.
It's just a shame Matt Canada got snubbed.
Oh, I know. They should have a worst human being award.
Coach.
Yeah.
We can come up with those for next week.
We can do that next week.
Worst of the worst?
Yeah, worst.
Yeah, we should do that.
Matt Rule is the real winner.
That'd be fun. I'd like that.
I've been following the Oscars, and there's another thing called I think it's called the Razzies. It's the worst awards. So we need to do that for the NFL.
All right. Let's move on to a better coaching position, the head coach of the year. There were 5 nominees for this, but I did see somewhere that it's down to mainly 3 people. But I'd like to acknowledge that Sean McDermott and Nick Sirianni were also nominations, but from what I saw, they will not be getting the award. The final 3, which we are left to predict, are Brian Daboll of the Giants, Doug Peterson of the Jaguars, 2 first-year guys that led their team to the playoffs, I'd say unexpectedly, and Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers. And I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of torn on this. So
I know mine.
All right, Dante, we'll let you start.
I'm going Brian Daboll. I mean, nobody expected the Giants to compete at all this year. And going to the playoffs and winning a game on the road against Minnesota, he turned this offense around, and most influential fat man in New York since Biggie.
I was going to say that if you didn't.
Yeah, come on. It's Brian Daboll. I love Doug Peterson. I love what he did with Philly, and I'm so glad he's really bringing Jacksonville out of that hole they were in. But, nobody expected the Giants to be good this year. Nobody. So, that's why I'm going with Daboll.
Yep, I agree.
Huh. Okay.
Adam?
I'm kind of torn. See, Shanahan I could pick because he had 3 different quarterbacks this year, but they all worked in a system, and we all kind of expected the 49ers to be good.
Tomlin had Rudolph and Duck, and he didn't win it, so.
So, yeah, I'm not going to go with Shanahan after thinking about it.
Yeah,
seriously thinking about it.
He'd be third on my list.
I kind of looked on my list before going into today, and that was going to be my pick, but now I'm changing it. I'm going to pick a guy that unexpectedly led his team to the playoffs, but it's going to be a different one than you two. Okay. I'm going to pick Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
I thought about it with these two. New York, they've always been, they've always had an underrated defense, underrated O-line, whatever. You just needed a coach to develop Daniel Jones the right way. The Jaguars had the number 1 pick in the last 2 years. Won 5 games total in the last 2 seasons. Hired Doug Peterson, which a lot of people called a bad hire. I just want to say that was very wrong. I always thought it was a great hire. A guy with Super Bowl experience. I didn't expect the Jaguars to even come close to the playoffs this year. I was like, yeah, they'll improve. They'll get to 5 or 6 wins. They made the playoffs. They went to the divisional round. It's close, like you said, between Daboll and Peterson, but I feel like we should have some disagreement, so I'm going to take Doug Peterson as my pick.
Okay.
So, yes. Let me just submit that real quick. Okay. Moving on. Comeback Player of the Year. There are 3 candidates for this one. All 3 offensive players. Only one is a quarterback this year. We have Saquon Barkley, running back for the Giants, Christian McCaffrey, running back for the 49ers, and Geno Smith, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Dante, go.
I think it's pretty obvious. I think it has to be Geno Smith. like, once again, going back to similar thing with the Giants, nobody expected the Seahawks team to compete. They were like, oh, Drew Lock or Geno Smith. They were going 3-14 either way. Led this team to the playoffs and damn near kind of almost won that division. They were in the lead for a good amount of weeks. And Geno Smith absolutely balled out with this pretty much a non-existent offense except for DK and Tyler Lockett. But yeah, I'm going Geno Smith here.
I'm actually, even though I agree with you, I'm sure he'll run away with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree here. I'm going to go Saquon Barkley, and my main point is that this is no offense to Geno Smith. He deserves it, and he had a fantastic year. But in order to come back from something, you have to be somewhere first. And I really don't think that Geno Smith had anything going for him before this year. This was kind of his first career good year. And just due to the fact that Saquon was great, started to regress just a little bit when his team kept getting worse, got hurt for an entire season, and came back and was dominant again. I'm picking Saquon Barkley.
Fair.
All right. Adam?
You guys know who I'm going with.
I know.
So we're all picking
I'm picking Christian McCaffrey. I thought about it. I was going to pick Geno. It was either going to be Geno or Christian. Geno like Saquon, or Christian like Saquon, the argument Luke put. Christian McCaffrey was very, had injury problems the last 2 seasons. Last year played like what? I don't know. There was something like he only played like 9 games since his 1K season in 2019. And the last 2 years, it was CMC is one of the most overrated running backs in football. He needs to be traded. The Panthers need to move on from him. He's hurting the team. All of this. We moved on from him. We did what the fans thought we should do. He stayed healthy with the San Francisco system. I'm not going to mention he did stay healthy with Carolina before the trade. I don't think he missed a single game this year, unless he just sat out. But McCaffrey not only rebounded, but I'm going to say reestablished his title as the best running back in football. And you guys may disagree, but I think Christian McCaffrey has taken over that spot once again. And Geno Smith and Saquon Barkley, both phenomenal players, both had phenomenal years. Saquon, I didn't really expect it from him going into the year. Geno Smith, I certainly didn't. But McCaffrey, I mean, I'm not trying to brag here, but I've kind of had the vision that he's always been a great running back, and I just want to celebrate that fact by picking him here. But I have a feeling it's going to be Geno, but McCaffrey's my pick. So, okay, next award. We're going into the rookies here. We're giving the rookies some love. Let's start with Defensive Rookie of the Year. There are 3 nominees for this. Sauce Gardner of the Jets. Aiden Hutchinson, a defensive end for the Lions. Forgot to say Sauce Gardner was a corner. And Tariq Woolen, a corner for the Seahawks. I'll get started for this. I think this is a no-brainer pick. Much love to the other 2 candidates, great players. But I think there's only one person you could pick here, and that is Sauce Gardner of the Jets, and I'm not going to elaborate. But I'll let you guys get into your picks.
I'm going Aiden Hutchinson. I think, yeah, dude, guy had... Let me just bring up the stats for this guy. If we're just looking at mainly stats, it was very close for me. I was either going Sauce or Hutch, but, dude, it may not look like it on paper with his stats, but he made his presence felt in each and every game. If I could just, where the stats at? But, like, yeah, the guy had 9.5 sacks this year, multiple interceptions. The guy had met, like, countless QB pressures. I mean, 34 solo tackles. It doesn't show me how many TFLs he had, but I think Hutch definitely had the biggest impact on his defense, and yeah, that's why I'm going with him.
I will say before Luke makes his pick, Hutchinson kind of proved me wrong going into the year. I thought he was going to be a great prospect out of the draft, but I was one of the believers who was on more of the Kayvon Thibodeau train than Aiden Hutchinson.
I do like him, though.
I like Kayvon as well. I thought he was going to be a much better player, and for a while I thought that's who the Lions should have gone with for that number 2 pick, but they made the right choice. Well, actually, that's also because I thought Hutchinson was going to be the number 1 overall pick and go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville didn't do that. I still don't think they're the smartest for taking Trayvon Walker, but I could be wrong.
Which team went to the playoffs? That's all I'm
That's true. That's true. But man, Hutchinson is such a good player. It's just a guy that you want to have for a while, and he's in his state where he went to college, and he's going to be one of the best athletes for the Lions for a long time. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, my pick is Sauce. But Luke, go ahead.
I'm going to pick Sauce Gardner as well, just because I think it took Aiden Hutchinson a little longer to get going. Sauce Gardner was amazing from the start.
Yeah, that's fair.
And on their way to a 7-4 record, the Jets were really a two-man show between Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall. When Breece Hall went down, their season went down. But Sauce Gardner was still excellent. He was undoubtedly a top 5 corner in the league this year, which just doesn't happen that often, I think, unless any of you want to refute. But he was amazing at his position. He did his job extremely well against a division with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, and nobody for the Patriots.
Devontae Parker.
Yeah,
Kendrick Bourne.
I liked them both, but they both were in Matt Patricia's doghouse all year.
Yeah.
So either way, respect to Sauce Gardner and respect to the other two, but this is kind of a two-man race, and between Hutch and Sauce, I'm feeling the Sauce.
Okay.
Fair take.
Moving on to the offensive side. Moving on to the offensive side. Offensive Rookie of the Year. The nominees. Once again, we have a Seahawk and a Jet. The Seahawks, I put quarterback for Kenneth. I got to change that to running back. Kenneth Walker, the third running back for the Seahawks, and Garrett Wilson, wide receiver of the Jets. But the other nominee, a late bloomer, Brock Purdy of the 49ers. And I think it's interesting. I mean, Purdy kind of came around late. Do we think he had a better year than the other two? I'll be interested to see what you guys say, but I'm going to let you start first.
Who did you say are the other two?
Kenneth Walker of the Seahawks, Garrett Wilson of the Jets.
Dante, you can go first. If you have it.
I'm going Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson stepped in and was a absolute wide receiver one for this team. Looked like a complete vet out there. And once again, I've been saying it all season. I think Brock Purdy's a little overrated, man. He's a product of his environment. I mean, put me in at quarterback, man. I'm going in and I'm balling. You know what I'm saying? Not that he's a bad quarterback. He definitely has a future in this league. But, man, Garrett Wilson seemed like a top 10 receiver pretty much all year. So that's why I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, and when I said the Jets were a two-man show, I forgot about Garrett Wilson, who I'm going with as well. I'm going to be honest, so this year I just wasn't really up on the rookies from the offensive class. I didn't really know the difference between Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson all year. For some reason, I kind of forgot about them both, and I just don't think Purdy has enough games to win it. He shouldn't win it, because Dante's right. And who even was it? Kenneth Walker? He had a good year. He was good for the Seahawks.
He's solid. He's a good back.
He's solid, but Garrett Wilson played the whole year, whereas he really started to get attention after... Who is it that went down for the Seahawks?
Chris Carson? No.
After that.
Rashad Penny.
Yeah, okay.
Chris Carson's not even on the Seahawks.
No, not anymore. So, Garrett Wilson's my pick. And knowing Adam, I think we can all assume who he's picking as well.
I mean, for the award show, what else am I going to wear if I didn't buy his shirt a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
It's Garrett Wilson. That's my pick.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to be shocked if they seriously consider Purdy.
My prediction is they're going to pick Wilson, and then all of casual NFL Twitter is going to be like, "Oh, you should have picked Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was the GOAT." You know.
I agree.
But dude, you got to think about it. Garrett Wilson, his quarterbacks were Mike White, Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and he still had a crazy.
And let me add, he had over 1,000 receiving yards as a rookie.
Exactly.
Hey, let's just settle the debate right here. It's Bailey Zapp.
Bailey Zapp. Yeah, true. Dude, it is George Pickens. Come on. It is Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett should have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Moving on to same type of awards, but now we're going overall players. Defensive Player of the Year. This is a big award. It was won last year by T.J. Watt. It should have been won by T.J. Watt the year before as well.
And the year before.
Seriously, he should have.
Over Gilmore, but.
Aaron Donald in 2020, I cannot get over how much of a joke that
was.
Man,
I was so mad.
I looked at the stats. Donald trailed Watt in like everything except for one stat. But anyway, Our Defensive Player of the Year nominees this year are Nick Bosa, defensive end for the 49ers, Chris Jones, defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Micah Parsons, linebacker for the Cowboys. And I'm going to get started with the man that I have had picked all year. He was my preseason pick. Why change up now? It's Nick Bosa.
I agree, Adam. It is Nick Bosa. He's had the season of his career so far. Absolute beast. I think this is the most obvious of the last few predictions here. But yeah, it's definitely Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I agree. Although I would have liked it to be Micah Parsons, but I think all of Dallas, their defense was just so good that there wasn't quite enough love to be spread around to every single person, so he didn't have quite the individual stats that Nick Bosa did. And might I say that the dream is dead it was dead since like week 10 for Matt Judon to even be a nominee. Even though he had a career year of 15.5 sacks, or he might have had more than that. Alex Highsmith might have mentioned had a fantastic year. Brian Burns is coming into himself, and coming into his own, and I think Micah Parsons is going to be the best defensive player in the league for a long time after this year. But I still think he's the best defensive player in the year. I still think Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the league because he does more than everybody else. He's more multifaceted.
Dude, it's gonna go back and forth between Parsons, Bosa, and Watt for years to come. You know, that's what's gonna happen.
But I am picking Bosa, by the way.
Me too.
I want to say, if we're giving shout-outs to our players on our team, I also want to give a shout-out to Frankie Louvu. He had a really good year on defense. I'm sure you guys don't really know who that is, but
I only know because you keep talking about him.
Carolina Panthers defensive player. Had a very good season. Jets legend, actually.
Hey, J.C. Horn. Great year.
J.C. Horn,
Great
too,
year.
yes.
Great year.
I wish he was healthy to end the season. I feel like we could have beaten the Bucs if he was, but
Hey, Miles Bryant, get off my team.
Wait, who's the guy that picked Pittsburgh off in New England? I forget. He picked Mitch off.
Jonathan Jones?
Either Jack Jones or Jonathan Jones.
It was Jack Jones. Yeah.
Oh, and I love Marcus Jones, the rookie we drafted. He had a receiving, rushing, and pick 6 touchdown. He was the first rookie in like 60 years to do that.
Who's that O-lineman you got?
Cole Strange.
Cole Strange, yeah.
Cole Strange.
Right when he got drafted, I had more Instagram followers than Cole Strange.
Yeah, crazy.
Which is nuts.
Still a great pick, but it was just a bad place to pick him.
Yeah, because he would have been there so much later.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Well, hold on. I just want to say,
No.
I got this text here. Normally, I don't give in to the Pittsburgh Penguins promotional text like the Student Rush stuff, but they're giving me a chance to win it says, tired of this winter weather? We totally get it. We want to help. Enter for your chance to win the ultimate Florida vacation, including 2 round-trip flights, a 4-night hotel stay, food, shopping, beachside cabanas, and 2 tickets to see the Penguins take on the Lightning in Tampa on March 2nd.
Oh, my God.
I might have to get in on that
Sign up
giveaway.
for it.
Why not? I mean, it's Florida. I mean, for sure.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Anyway, Offensive Player of the Year. We have 4 nominees for this one, but since MVP is usually a quarterback award, I'm going to say there's really only 2 real nominees for this.
You mean oh boy, or no?
MVP is a QB award, so I'm going to say the other 2 nominees, non-QB nominees, are the main ones for Offensive Player of the Year. Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are the 2 QB nominees for OPOY, but I'd say the main 2 are Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. But you guys could disagree. But
No, you're right.
this one, I think, actually is a little more of a no-brainer than the Defensive Player of the Year.
I agree. I want to see who you
I
go with,
agree.
though.
It's a guy who, believe it or not, almost had a Cooper Cup level season, or did.
And
I
for
don't know.
and
He
for
was
the
on
record,
track.
I would put Tyreek Hill 4th out of those guys. But
Okay.
Likewise.
But I think we can all agree here, but I'm going to say my pick is Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Absolutely. One of my favorite players in the league.
For the record, it would go Jefferson, Hurts, Mahomes, Hill for me.
Spitting.
Spitting.
Absolute bars from Luke.
What it's gotta be.
I only say give Hill more recognition because MVP usually goes to a quarterback. In fact, all 5 finalists are No, actually, no. There's 1 wide receiver.
The thing is with Hill, I mean, he didn't have as much pressure on him as Jefferson because Jefferson is their true receiver 1. Other teams had to deal with Jalen Waddle also, and also a good receiver in Mike Gesicki. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. People forget just because Jefferson is so good that behind him, it's really not a ton there.
Thielen? I mean, I guess.
Thielen is okay
else?
nowadays.
Who else?
T.J. Hawkinson for half the season.
Yeah, Hawkinson, of course.
He's good. He had a couple really good games for them, but that was for half the season. And behind that, I think it's like K.J. Osborne, Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
So, either way.
Okay. KJ Osborne, man, he gave the Panthers just a. I heard you, Luke. I heard you. KJ Osborne, I was saying last year, I just don't like the fact that he scored a touchdown and beat the Panthers last year, but we're not going to talk about that. On to the last award, and it's the most important of all. It's the most valuable of all. It's the most valuable player. There are 5 nominees this year. And I think it's down to 2 for me, but I don't know who to pick. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys to give your picks first.
I know who I'm going.
The nominees, are Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes. Dante, you want to go first?
Yeah, after close consideration, I know this is a pretty boring pick. I wanted to go Hurts, but it's undoubtedly Patrick Mahomes. The guy had the most yards in a single season, period.
Yeah.
The guy had 5,200 yards, passing.
And without Tyreek Hill.
Without Tyreek Hill. I mean, the guy led his team to an AFC championship win. I think so did Hurts, but Hurts was out for a good period of time.
That's true.
So, yeah, and then Allen was good, Burrow was good. Jefferson, we just talked about him, but, this award's mainly a quarterback award. However, Jefferson would probably be my number 2, but I'm going Patrick Mahomes.
I think Jefferson deserves to be up there. He deserves the respect that comes along with it, but we all know he's not going to win it because it is a quarterback award.
Yeah, which sucks, but...
Yeah, and I think Hurts had an amazing year, and he deserves the respect from it just as much as anybody else, but I also think that if you plug Gardner Minshew into that offense, they're a 500 team at least. So, my pick is definitely Patrick Mahomes.
Adam?
You guys made it easy for me. My pick was down to Jalen Hurts or Mahomes, but after hearing all the facts Dante gave about how Mahomes had all these yards, I forgot he didn't have Tyreek Hill. They're going to the Super Bowl just like Jalen Hurts, but I mean, you give Patrick Mahomes the Eagles offense, they might go undefeated. You give Jalen Hurts the Chiefs offense, I think they'd be good, but not as good as the Eagles were this year. Patrick Mahomes, it just proves how much of a generational talent Mahomes is, how he might be the best talent overall in the entire National Football League, how he's just able to get it done no matter what he has. And Travis Kelce, is an incredible piece, but besides that, who were his wide receivers? Juju was hurt. McCole Hardman got hurt.
Pacheco,
he had on the running back side. MVS was his wide receiver 1 in that AFC Championship game. And he still was able to take down Joe Burrow and the very good Bengals offense that they have of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, all those guys. Patrick Mahomes is my undisputed MVP.
Facts.
That's my pick. So I guess Luke decided the Pro Bowl.
We're almost an hour in, so
Yeah,
This is around all
even though the Pro Bowl is going to be on Sunday, that can maybe be our way of going over how it went and what we do to make it better. So next week's extreme focus is going to be how we can fix the Pro Bowl.
And I wouldn't count on us recapping how it went because are any of us watching it? No.
And then we could do a redux of our picks if they stay the same or if they change.
I'm not going to say I don't. I'm not going to say I'm not going to, but
I'm not.
I kind of want to just see how
working.
it goes. I'm just going to watch it from the meme aspect to see, okay,
they are trying to improve it,
they are
which
trying
I
to improve
respect.
it. I want to see how well it goes. That's what I'm going to say. And it'll be interesting to see the Manning brothers as the coaches. I kind of just want to see all that. So, okay, that'll do it for episode 15. Adam,
Dante?
and
Luke.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.